Welcome to FourC Fitness to FourC Life, Episode 1, an overview. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Lisa. And we're so excited to put this away. But
It's been a thing. It's like our third take.
Definitely our third take. Not even joking. But we are so excited to be back. Had to get out the first couple of jitters. And it's been so long since we've been in front of the camera and behind the mic. And we're excited to be back.
Yeah, it is so crazy how life changes and evolves. And over the last, 6 years since we've done, I think, our last
Feels
FourC
like
Fitness
even
show.
longer.
I don't even know. So much has changed, we've changed, we've evolved, and it's been some good, some bad, some in the middle, but we're super excited to be back, sharing our journey. One of the things we really wanted to jump into was why we decided to make the shift from FourC Fitness to FourC Life. And, those of you who've been following us since the very beginning know that it was always about health and fitness, but life changes, life evolves, and we really needed to make a pivot if we were going to keep doing this to where we're at in our lives now. And we are starting our family.
That's
and
right.
As some of you know, in that journey already. So it really just kind of felt right to kind of like make this transition to the FourC Life platform.
Yeah, and, to bring along everybody on that, new journey that we're taking, but it all goes hand in hand, which kind of started back in 2007 when Michelle had gone to a doctor's appointment and discovered that she had PCOS.
Right. I mean, I had it for many years, but at that point, by 2007, my weight was so bad that the PCOS was so much worse. Lisa's known me for 20 years, but I've been struggling with PCOS since I'm, 17, 18 years old. Really never in my life had regular periods. Sorry, TMI, but that is one of the symptoms of PCOS. And so as my weight ballooned, the situation got worse. And it was in 2007 that we had a doctor actually say to me, you are at risk to be pre-diabetic. You will have a lot of trouble later in life. I mean, at the time, 2007, I was only... I don't even know how old I was, 20-something. And I was
25.
already thinking...
25.
Right. I was already thinking, we're going to want to have kids one day, you know? And so this is a problem. And that really is kind of what set us on our journey to weight loss. And so cut to 2007, 13 years later, and, we're finally starting that journey.
Yeah.
But everything really kind of led to one another.
Yeah, so the in-between, basically, was that when Michelle got diagnosed, she was diagnosed, she wanted to take the steps to finally eradicate this PCOS. And
for those of you who don't know what PCOS is, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. We will do a full, in-depth episode on it. We don't want to bore everyone with this. It's an overview. But PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, a lot of women do struggle with it. Not really spoken about a lot, but that is what was one of my struggles with my weight.
Exactly.
Right.
And so the doctor put her on metformin, again, which we'll get into in another episode in depth about PCOS. And so her weight loss was then possible because it regulated her levels. But we kind of took a jump into potential reality TV, and we auditioned for The Biggest Loser Couples Edition. And back in 2007, a same-sex couple on The Biggest Loser hadn't happened.
Right.
And we actually got up to almost we actually were waiting for the phone call to where they ask you to go to the ranch. And that day...
Didn't happen.
That phone call didn't come in.
We were, not interesting enough. I don't know.
Apparently we were
not
boring.
Former beauty queens who put all our weight on
Who
decided
knows?
to become lesbians because we were fat.
Or they just weren't ready. They weren't ready for us. So instead, we decided to do our own little mini Biggest Loser, and we exiled ourselves.
It was a blessing in disguise, because I think if we had lost the weight that way, it really wouldn't have been the same. So, we started that journey, and we lost a lot of weight. Many of you know that. This is kind of like a review and an overcap for a lot of people. But that's where it all started. If you really think about it, we knew one day we'd want to have kids, and we needed to lose the weight. And through that journey, I had lost... we lost a combined 240. I lost 155 pounds, and my PCOS went away. And I was seeing a doctor in Manhattan at Columbia. That was kind of my first time dabbling into fertility and what did it mean and what was I going to have to do. And he tracked me for a couple of months, and it got to the point where he was like, you're no longer polycystic.
Yeah.
And
that was very exciting.
it was awesome. I came off birth control. I came off metformin little by little, and I realized that it was like eating natural, my diet, all those things like really came into play. There was a time I didn't even drink coffee. I only drank tea because I thought, like, I was convinced.
It was wild.
It was crazy. People remember that.
So fast forward, 2018, we spoke to our OBGYN, just kind of, tossing around the idea of having kids. We had gotten married, and we had been together married for 8 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had always seen nutritionists and been on our journey still, and we kind of left out the part in the middle where, like, we started running a lot and we gained a lot of weight and, like, kind of lost sight of, like, what our goals and dreams were.
Right.
Not even lost sight, but we really started enjoying life more. So, like, we tried to keep up with it, and luckily I found a nutritionist, not the one I currently see now, who recommended our OB. She knew that she would be great for us, and she's amazing, and she was the one who kind of got us back into really thinking about pregnancy, and she would always be like, when is it time, girl?
She was always hinting.
Yeah. So I think it was around 2018 where she did some blood work, and she was like, listen, I know it's in the horizon for you. I know you're not there yet, but your thyroid levels are not exactly where I would like them for pregnancy. I had no idea, like, that was the thing. And a lot of the women who maybe are watching this who, have been pregnant know a lot of the times you do have to take Synthroid before and during your pregnancy, because if your thyroid levels aren't healthy, it can be not good for both mother and baby. So she got me on Synthroid in 2018. So then going along our journey, and this all ties together interestingly. I hurt my hip running.
Right.
Went to an orthopedic doctor because I wanted to get back to running. Love my orthopedic doctor. And she was like, guess what? I'm pregnant. And it's a Leo. And I was like, yes, of course. Yay. Because she was a Leo too. And so was I. Anyway. And so she was like, you have to go to my doctor. She was like, turns out I have PCOS. Now, Dana, my orthopedic, you would never expect her to be like a PCOS candidate because usually it's women who struggle with their weight. Turned out like she was a non-presenting PCOS. And her and her husband tried. And then finally she went to CCRM, Dr. Levine, and first shot, boom, he got her pregnant. That was all I needed to hear.
No, it was very exciting. And it was just by happenstance, with all the exercise and stuff. I mean, injuries come along, but you don't think that you're going to find your fertility doctor from your orthopedist. So it was very exciting. So we had our first appointment in 2019 with Dr. Levine.
Dr. Levine.
We love him. He really is great. He's got the best sense of humor, kind of like, and is very confident, which is wonderful because it keeps you positive. Again, this is our first time, our first round. So
yeah, it was really comforting to have him, and we will get into in another episode, like everything that we needed to do, everything that he wanted us to do, testing, blood work, etc. But one of the big parts, and a lot of people actually have already asked us about this, is about finding our donor. So this was something we had been really dabbling in. It's like now we look at houses. Right. We used to look at donors.
Yes.
We replaced like CCB for Zillow.
Right.
So like every night we literally would get on California Cryo and Fairfax and Seattle and all the different... And we
take a look at the donors.
We would take a look at the donors.
Yeah, it was a slow search. There's a lot that goes into it. And again, and we'll talk more about that in another episode on there's certain aspects that you do need to know. It's not just about personal preference of what you're looking for, but there's some science that is behind it that you'll need, you'll want to pay attention to if you're looking for a donor. So that kind of made it a little difficult for us.
It wasn't as simple as just like, he's Italian, huh?
Yeah, that's good. There we go.
But it was important to us not only that he matched the health criteria that we needed, but also the family background and the family medical history. I mean, when a man and a woman fall in love, they don't necessarily get to pick each other's genetics and family history, right? So, I mean, there is a small bonus to the fact that it costs us a boatload of money to have a child, and it's that we really get to handpick who the other half of this kid will be. And, someone who had an artistic background, someone who looked like us. We wanted it to be that no matter who carried, the kids that we had, they would be officially half siblings, and they would look like each other because of our ccoloring or our background and so on and so forth. So that was important to us.
Yeah, because being two moms, we know we may face enough adversity. You just don't know. So it was important for us, for our family, to try to resemble us as much as possible.
Absolutely.
But so we finally found our donor just this past November. The search was like, it just felt like it was forever and ever and ever.
Like right now, Erin from my job is going to want a shout out because she literally was like, what's going on with pregnancy? What's going on with the donor search? We were at an event and I was like, good question. I have a minute. Let me look. And there he was.
I know, it was wild. I was at work and she's calling me and she's like, I'm calling California Cryo right now. And it's just, and we've been really lucky because back years ago when we talked about having children and affording children, because that's something that we're very mindful of. It's not cheap. And actually, funny enough, as 2019 was ushered in, my office actually signed up with a new fertility benefit. And that's when it really felt possible for us to be able to afford this process. And we feel very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because,
we fully own that we had such a blessing with that because we really weren't sure when it would be possible for us. And we're kind of sometimes the type that wait for everything to be perfect. And sometimes, like when Lisa actually proposed to me, it was like we weren't ready to throw a big wedding. But you know what? It happened. And so with kids, you're never really ready. But this was just a sign for us. Like, no, everything might not be perfect. We might not have the house and we might not know exactly where we're going to end up. But this is a sign that it's time to get started. And we had found the donor and it just all kind of fell into place. So cut to, we were going to get started in March. And we were so excited, and many people in our life knew that it was like the time.
So psyched.
Full disclosure, part of my planning involves what month will my child be born in. So this is exciting to me. So March was going to give me either a Sagittarius or a Capricorn, and I was very good with that. Lots of those great ones in my life.
Yep.
So we were super excited, and then COVID hit. So literally I had taken, and we'll get more into this in another episode, but I had taken the pills I needed to take, and it was like time to go in for the sonogram.
Literally, we had called, our close family, our parents, and just said, listen, like, we're going to do this. And like the new, here in New York City, there were whispers of everything shutting down.
Yeah, and we had some people in our life who were like, are you guys sure? Like, now's the right time? Like, but I was like, but I'm in the process. Like, it should be fine. I think the doctors will tell us if we shouldn't.
Right.
And then they did.
And then they did tell us that we shouldn't.
Like, the day the world blew up, I think it was Monday, March 16th, the doctor called and was like, we're so sorry, but we have to put this process on hold. We don't know the risks. We don't know that it's safe enough.
Right.
And we were devastated. I also had gotten furloughed from my job.
Oh, yeah. So it was like a day of just bad.
We just didn't know.
Very bad news.
We were just like, what does the future hold now? Like, this was our plan. And like, as being big planners and wanting everything to be perfect, we totally got thrown. But we did do what we normally do. We took lemons. We made lemonade, which is such a cliche. But I had been seeing my nutritionist again, who I love, Alyssa from My Custom Nutrition, who we talk about a lot. And we took it as an opportunity. I had actually just seen her and was going to be jumping into a whole prenatal, like, fitness and food plan with her to watch my weight in the beginning, because my weight had gone up. So Lisa and I have been meaning to post like a before and after again.
Right.
Because I put about 50 pounds back on. Lisa put like
about 25, 30 pounds back on.
So I was not in the ideal place I wanted to be, really, to get pregnant. So I was like, all right, in the first trimester, I'm going to lose weight. That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself in the first trimester. So I kind of went back to the drawing board and I'm like, you know what? We don't know when this is going to end. Like, I have a goal to lose 30, 40 pounds before I get pregnant. Let's do it. So
it became like Exile 2.0.
Because we had no choice.
We had no choice. Back when we first started losing weight, we told family and friends, like, hey, we have to cut down on the social gatherings. We really need to focus. We have to be at the gym, 2 times a day. And we did. We did 2-a-days, and we did all that. And that was the way we were able to kind of like keep our focus. Now here we were.
We were given a gift.
We were.
Although I know COVID is devastating, but for us, we took it as the time to reset.
Right. And this was the time we were literally being handed, like, it is time for you to focus on what you've been trying to do for a couple of years now, which was lose that extra weight that we had put back on.
Yeah, so
it was a good time. It was in essence, for us, it was.
It really only took us a couple of days to be like, actually, this is probably a good thing.
Right.
And I was like, hey, if we did go in July, I could have an Aries or a Taurus. So here we are, and it's July. We definitely have taken weight off. I've taken off maybe like 20 or 25 pounds. I haven't been getting on the scale every day because hormones and such and the fluctuations, but, you know, I'm still working with Alyssa. I still plan to keep my weight down in the first trimester, but it definitely put us in a better position.
Yes.
And
health-wise, and
yes.
that's what's important.
Absolutely. And so kind of like circles the whole thing back, right? Everything started with, I was a 25-year-old who was thinking about, I'm 315 pounds and I'm potentially pre-diabetic and I might not be able to have kids one day. Cut to, I'm a 37-year-old and I'm like, okay, now I feel is the time. I got everything under control how many times? And we're ready. We're finally ready.
Yes.
So here we are. So much more to share. Super exciting. Did we cover everything we wanted to cover?
I think we did.
Okay.
Because our outline blacked out.
Behind the curtain.
No, we definitely, I think we did cover everything we wanted to cover.
Okay.
And like we said, there's so many more things within this that we're going to expand on, and we hope that you come along with us.
Yeah, it's like, you might be like, why do I care? I mean, our goal has always been to just share our journey because we're two regular people. You know, we work really crazy jobs. Everyone who knows us knows we love to have fun and we have a really busy social life.
Yes.
And like, the one thing I'm missing the most probably is being able to like have a summer bev with my girls. But like, you know, this is us and like we want to help people and people are asking us questions already, and so we hope that we can be a resource and share our journey along the way, and then one day our kids can look back and be like, oh my god, you guys did that? Like, that's so cool. And if we keep doing this and my belly keeps growing and when we get the official news, we just think it would be really fun, you know, to be on this journey with all of you. I mean, today I had a panic attack about caffeine, so those are some things we'll talk about. You know, we have a lot to like of detailed things we want to get into, but we feel like this will be a really fun way to do it.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, DM us, comment, and you know, we'll be happy to, you know, bring you along with us and help however we can, because that's also the point of this as well.
Absolutely. So. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope this wasn't like crazy and manic and that you enjoyed it. Typical Lisa and Michelle.
Thank you so much, and we're really looking forward to doing more.
See you guys. See y'all.
See y'all
soon.
See y'all soon.
See you all soon.